Welcome everyone to a new Heroes of the Storm video. I'm BorrowXL, and today we're going to be having a look at Chromie. She originally comes from World of Warcraft, where she is a descendant of the dragons. What she is able to do is manipulate time and use dragon-like abilities. And so here in Heroes of the Storm, she has a little advantage on her counterparts, since her passive in the game lets her pick her talents 2 levels before the others, well, apart from level 1. For example, when everyone needs to choose their level 4 talent, Chromie can get this at level 2, and so on and so forth, level 8 for level 10 for example. So this makes her, let's say, more powerful during all of the game, but unless you know how to use her like really well, at the end of the game she becomes a bit she doesn't become that strong unless you know how to snipe like a pro. So now let's move on to her 3 basic abilities. The Q ability is called Sandblast. It costs 20 mana, which isn't a lot. It has a 2-second cooldown, and this is only usable against enemy heroes. It demands a second to charge this ability, and you fire this very powerful missile that deals a lot of damage to the first enemy hero hit. So this is really interesting. This has a really large distance, and this actually can go through walls. It can go through minions, mercenaries and all that, and even your heroes. And placing this to perfection will actually define whether you're a good Chromie player or not. Her W ability is called Dragon's Breath. It costs 70 mana, which is a lot, but it has a 12-second cooldown, so you can't use it very often. So you fire a blast into the air that lands after a 1.5 seconds, dealing tons of damage to enemies in this radius. And the cool thing about this is that the enemies can't see where it's going to land, unlike Jaina's Blizzard or Brightwing's area of effect. This the enemies cannot see, so they can't judge their movement, which is pretty cool. This is also Chromie's only source of wave clear, since her Q ability, well, only can be usable against enemy heroes, and her E, we're going to see in a few seconds, actually isn't useful in that way. So her E ability is called Time Trap. It costs 25 mana. It has an 18-second cooldown. This is pretty long, but it's very powerful to keep your Chromie alive. So you place this down onto the map, and after 2 seconds, it actually goes into this sort of stealth mode. And whenever an enemy hero, whenever he touches it, he's trapped inside and he's put into stasis. Hence the enemy cannot be damaged, but he cannot move anymore, so you can then throw your abilities at the perfect time to deal damage, and your allies also have the time to react to this trap. This has 2 utilities. Either use it in an aggressive way to like help with the objectives, or you use it as the ultimate way of escaping. You put it just behind you, and when you see like a Zeratul running at you with his knives, you just move in a way so that he falls into your trap, and you have the time to put your mount on and just get away from there. Well then, let's move on to the heroic abilities. The first one is called Slowing Sands, and this is peculiar since it has a 5-second cooldown, but it can be used indefinitely. Well, the thing is, it uses 2 mana per second, and so when you don't have any mana left, it will just stop. But you have to activate it and activate it at your will. So what happens is you have a sand vortex, and the enemies in it, they're slowed, and the longer it's active, the more it slows, and I think the maximum is around 60 or 70%. So this is actually a sort of like crowd control that can be useful, but I find that the second heroic ability is way better, unless like the map objective and the team really needs this sort of crowd control. There's temporal loop that demands a lot of vigilance. So what happens is it has a 70-second cooldown, so use it wisely. You choose an enemy hero, and after 3 seconds, they'll teleport back to the location where temporal loop was cast onto them. So you need a lot of timing, anticipation, and you need your allies also to follow suit. So what the best combo ever is to use this and then just combo your Sandblast and Dragon Breath onto that location, and even possible to like one-shot him. As you can see in my gameplay, I usually use this a lot, and unless they're able to protect themselves or run away, they're pretty much dead. Now, the last thing before I bid you all farewell, guys, is I'm going to show you my personal build. So at level 1, all of the talents are really good. Compounding Never is a quest for your Sandblast, really decent. Deep Breathing is a quest for the Dragon's Breath, which is also very good. And the last one is Time Walker's Pursuit, which is you activate it. So you just put this sort of like a drone or something to like reveal the area for like stealth and all that, which can be really good against enemy compositions with Valera and all that. Now at level 4, depending on what talent you took at level 1, you're going to take maybe Piercing Sands if you wanted to upgrade your Sandblast. So now you hit two targets, so you pierce one and you can hit another person. The second one, Enveloping Assault, this increases the radius of Dragon's Breath, which will be pretty good, as you'll see at level 7. Since this combines really well with Dragon's Eye, that makes the damage in the center of Dragon's Breath like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times more important or something, but it deals a lot more damage. At level 10, I of course want you to take Temporal Loop. This is really fun to use, and it demands a lot of skill. At level 13, I always take Bye Bye, since it reduces the Hearthstone cast, and unless you're stunned, even if you're hit by enemy attacks, you can actually recall to your base pretty easily. At level 16, you're going to take Quantum Overdrive. So this is you activate it, and every 20 or 30 seconds, every 20 or 30 seconds, you can reuse this again, and it just like increases your ability power, so you can just deal a bit more damage and get those kills. And to finish it all off, at level 20, you're gonna take Past in the Future Me. So what happens is when you use Sandblast, there's a sort of like clone that will appear, and the next time you use Sandblast, it's actually going to shoot from there as well. So you can technically have 2 Sandblasts every single time. Very useful in team fights and to defend your core. There's my build. I hope this will be useful for you guys. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this video, this gameplay and all that. I'm BorrowExile, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! So I'd like to shout out Rage Gamer. He makes tons of different videos. He's been on here for like a month, a bit like myself. Oh no, 3 months. But he makes some interesting videos, so have a look at his channel. And I'd also like to shout out Marky Payne Games. He does some Let's Plays and all that. So check out his channel, guys.